Beauty and the Beast. A widower merchant lives in a mansion with his 6 children, 3 sons and 3 daughters. All 3 of his daughters are very beautiful, but the youngest one, Beauty, is the most lovely as well as kind, well read, and pure of heart, while the 2 elder sisters, in contrast, are cruel, selfish, vain, and spoiled. On a dark and stormy night at sea, all of his wealth was robbed by pirates, who sink most of his merchant fleet and forces the entire family to live in a small barn to work for a living. While Beauty makes a firm resolution to adjust to rural life with a cheerful disposition, her sisters do not and mistake her firmness for insensibility, forcing her into doing household work in an effort to make enough money to buy back their former house. A year later, the merchant hears from one of his crew members that one of the trade ships he had sent has arrived back in the port. Having accepted the destruction of its companions before leaving, he asks his children if they wish for him to bring any gifts back for them. The sons ask for weaponry, horses to hunt with. Various the oldest daughters ask for clothing, jewels, and the finest dresses possible as they think his wealth was returned. Beauty asks for nothing but her father to be safe, but when he insists on buying her a present, she is satisfied with the promise of a rose. However, to his dismay, the merchant finds that his ship's cargo has been seized to pay his debts, leaving him penniless and unable to buy his children's presents. On his way back, the merchant becomes caught in a terrible storm. Desperately seeking shelter, he comes upon a mysterious place. Seeing that no one is in home, the merchant sneaks in and finds table inside laden with food and drinks, which seem to have been left for him by the palace's invisible owner. The merchant accepts this gift and spends the night there. The next morning, the merchant has come to view the place as his own possession and he is about to leave when he sees a rose garden and recalls that Beauty had desired a rose. Without warning, the merchant quickly plucked the loveliest rose he can find and was about to pluck more to create a bouquet, only to end up being confronted by a hideous beast who warns him that theft of his property, a rose, after accepting his hospitality, is a charge punishable by death. Realizing his deadly mistake, the merchant begs for forgiveness, revealing that he had only picked the rose as a gift for his youngest daughter. After listening to this story, his beast reluctantly agrees to let him give the rose to Beauty, but only if the merchant brings Beauty to him in exchange without deception. He makes it clear that Beauty must agree to take his palace to the point where he will then treat her as his fiance and not his prisoner, while under no illusions about her predicament, otherwise the beast will threateningly destroy her own family, her entire family. At first, the merchant is hesitantly upset about Beauty being abducted into marrying him, but he reluctantly accepts this condition. The beast sends him on his way atop a magical horse along with jewels, wealth, and fine clothes for his sons and daughters, but stresses that Beauty must never know about his deed. The merchant, upon arriving home, tries to hide the secret from his children, but Beauty pries it from him on purpose. Reacting swiftly, the brothers suggest if they could go to the castle and fight the beast together, while the older sisters place blame on Beauty for dooming the entire family. The merchant dissuades his children, forbidding them from ever going near the beast. Eventually, Beauty sneaks away from the home later that night against her father's order to face the beast alone. Once she arrives at this palace, the beast becomes excited to meet her face to face, so he throws a welcome ceremony by treating her to an amazing cabaret show. He gives her lavish clothing and food and carries to lengthy conversations with her, and she notes that he is inclined to stupidity rather than a savagery. Every night the beast asks Beauty to sleep with him, only to be refused each time. After each refusal, Beauty dreams of a handsome prince whom she dances with. Suddenly a fairy appears and pleads with Beauty to answer why she keeps refusing him, to which she replies that she doesn't know how to love the beast because she loves him only as a friend and not a seducer. Despite the apparition of the fairy urging her not to be deceived by appearances, she does not make the connection between a prince and a beast, and becomes convinced that the beast is holding the prince captive somewhere in his castle. She searches and discovers many enchanted rooms containing sources of entertainment ranging from libraries to aviaries to enchanted windows, allowing her to attend the theatre. Throughout an entire month, Beauty lives life of luxury at the beast's place, having every whim catered to with no end of riches to amuse her and an endless supply of exquisite finery to wear. Eventually, she becomes homesick and begs the beast to allow her to go see her family again. He allows it on the condition that she returns in exactly 1 week. Beauty agrees to this and is presented with an enchanted ring which allows her to wake up in his family new home in an instant when turned 3 times around her finger. The rest of her family is surprised to find her well fed and dressed in finery. Beauty tries to share the magnificent gowns and jewels the beast gave her with her older sisters, but they turn into rags at the sisters' touch and are restored to their splendor when returned to Beauty, as the beast made them only for her. Her sisters are envious when they hear of her happy life at the castle, and overhearing that she must return to the beast on a certainty, try to persuade her to steer clear of the beast. Even her father threatens to disown Beauty if she refuses to marry his younger and wealthier cousin next week, a wedding which was arranged for his youngest daughter, instead snatching the ring away from her to prevent her from going back to the beast's castle, when she then pleads for the marriage with the merchant's cousin to be delayed. Her brothers reject her, believing she knows too much about the beast, and Beauty is now shaken by her family's overprotection, and she reluctantly agrees to make it official, even if she stays with her family a lot longer. A week has passed and she begins holnicating about the beast lying dead in his quarters back at his castle and hastens to return. She immediately steals back the ring from her father and uses it to return the beast. Once she is back in the castle, Beauty's fears are confirmed as she finds the beast murdered in cold blood at the hands of an angry mob sent by her father in an effort to keep his children, even Beauty, away from him. Now completely devastated over her sins, Beauty bursts into tears and laments that she would have learned how to love the beast in the first place, screaming, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, this was all my fault." And then she kisses her. Suddenly, when she says those magic words and kiss the beast is transformed into the handsome prince from Beauty's dream. The prince informs her that long ago a powerful witch turned him into a hideous beast for his selfishness after trying to seduce him, and that only by finding true love despite his ugliness and could the curse be broken. Then the prince and Beauty married, and they live a long and blessed life in the castle. Thank you.